Fuck going on, man? It's your boy Flavor Pack, and in today's video, I'm going to be revisiting a prototype hybrid build. But in today's showcase, I'm going to be showcasing my build in a legendary PvE mission. Now, I know a lot of people have been commenting recently that are pretty much saying that the build doesn't do any damage or anything like that. Now, you got to take into account with any healer hybrid build, damage is kind of going to be something that's going to be hard to come across, on top of balancing out survivability, whether that be the amount of armor that you have or the amount of repair skills or incoming repairs that you have on a build. But the problem with hybrid builds for a while, I'm not going to say forever, but for a while, completing the hardest difficulty missions with a hybrid build was almost impossible. But I have for the longest time been able to complete legendary missions. Now the hardest content in the game is escalation missions, so that'll probably be the next thing that I try to accomplish or achieve, however you want to put it, in terms of being able to complete the content with the hybrid build, which will be escalations. But that is going to be extremely hard. Now, I have been able to complete escalations like tier 0, tier 1 and 2 with the hybrid build, so I can post content about that. But again, legendary content for some people, it's still challenging. So again, I am revisiting the build that I just posted, but I have changed some pieces up, so I will be dropping another video showing a different version of what I did with my prototype hybrid build. But as it stands right now, again, with the augments and stuff like that, the build is at 2 million armor, 1.1 million health at 5 skill tiers. If you want to see the actual particulars for the video, just make sure you go back and click on the last video that I just posted. But again, a lot of people were saying that damage, they don't see the value in this build. They don't see the damage value or anything like that. For one, you have to be accurate, right? If you're going to shoot your gun and stuff like that, even if you don't have damage, if you're accurate, you're already making up for the damage that you quote unquote don't have, right? When you go for your attribute rolls, if you're not looking for repair skills and crit chance or repair skills and crit damage or anything along those lines, you are never going to do damage. Now, granted, are you going to do the same amount of damage that you would do as a player that has 60% crit chance and let's say over 100% crit damage on their weapon? Most likely not, especially not in the beginning of the fight. But that's why the way that I set my hybrid builds up, usually I have the chest piece talent obliterate. So in the beginning of the fight, with me having survivability, I'm not going to go into the fight with the max amount of damage that I could potentially have, meaning that once I build up my obliterate stacks, once I'm at max obliterate stacks, I'm going to hit a whole lot harder, but I have to build up to that point. Now, most people, when they use hybrid builds, especially again, the new wave of people that are deciding to pick up hybrid builds with core strength is going to give you all of that base damage off rip, but you're losing out on the chest piece talent. Now, technically, you do have a chest piece talent with core gear set, because they're going to give you all this free damage, all this free armor is going to enhance your skill tiers and all that stuff, which is cool. But really, in reality, you're losing out on a chest piece talent. You don't have Unbreakable, you don't have Obliterate, which again, Obliterate is helping you do damage over time, or it's helping you build up damage over time. Kind of similar to Striker. Striker, you shoot, you land your shots, and if it's a crit, just really you just landing your shots, but over time you stack up the damage. It's the same thing with Obliterate. Now, there are other chest piece talents that you can use that will amplify your damage as well too. If you guys have not seen before, if you go back and look, Perfect Companion is another great chest piece talent to use on your hybrid build. I've posted several different variants with it. Which one would I say is the strongest? I would kind of have to revisit that now, being that there's prototype gear in the game, so there's different ways to do it. But between Perfect Companion, Obliterate, if you want more survivability, I guess you can throw in Unbreakable in there. And if you want to run a different version, you would have to use Intimidate as well too. But again, you wouldn't be using Ninja Bike. And most of my hybrid builds, I'm using a Ninja Bike backpack. So that is a whole different build. So the damage is there, and again, it all depends on if you can stay alive to be able to do the damage. Now, again, I know that's not appeasing to most people, but most people don't realize that survivability still matters. If you know when to do damage, when not to do damage, you can still outplay your opponent. Now, are you killing enemies in 2 seconds and stuff like that? No. But at the same time, you're giving yourself the opportunities to still kill your opponent. So somebody like me, I'm usually solo most of the times, and not to say that I don't have a team, I do. It's just, hey, schedules are different and stuff like that. We're all not on the game at the same time. So the times that I do have to play solo, I need to be able to survive. I can have all the damage in the world. If I can't survive, then it's kind of pointless, right? So for me, that's the mindset that I'm going into a fight. I want to be able to survive. I want to be able to do damage as well too. But the main thing that is important to me is being able to stay alive so I can do the damage. So as you can see from the gameplay clips that you've been seeing so far, me and my boy K-Laugi, better known on YouTube as Azazel's Gaming Realm, we're pretty much breezing through this legendary mission. We're not having to play cover-based shooter and, hide from the NPCs. We're just straight up rushing the NPCs. My boy is got to the point now where I don't want to say the wrong number, but I have personally seen this man with 4 million to 5 million armor. He's gotten higher. I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to, say the wrong thing, but I have personally seen in my own 2 eyes that he's been at 5 million armor. So as you can see through the clips, you would be like, yo, bro, he's at his health bar. Like, aren't you going to heal him up? He doesn't need to heal, bro. He's going to kill the NPC, and his health is going to go back up with his health on kill. If you want to look more into his builds, I can drop a link for you guys. But this is Goku and Vegeta. You know what I'm saying? He's doing a crazy amount of damage. I can hit hard as well too, but between the both of us, we both have survivability, just in different fonts. Me, it's more so I have to repair my armor manually. Him, he's just more so shooting you, killing you, and he's getting his health back by doing that. And yes, I can drop heals for him. Yes, I can bring his armor back, but really in reality, it's not even necessary, So with the changes that are going to be coming to the game, if you guys have not seen, you guys are going to be able to use the tokens that you use to start your escalation missions to actually be able to buy prototype caches. Now, there are going to be 3 different types of caches from what I've seen so far. But it is going to be crucial for you guys to make sure you guys have your tokens. Now, me, I've been joining missions and gaining tokens through playing escalation missions. I haven't really hosted too many missions, so I'm pretty much over like 100 tokens or something like that. So when I get a chance to actually check out the new update and stuff like that and see what is the value of that stuff, I can pretty much update that stuff for you guys later on. But if you guys have not already started prototyping your gear, if you have tokens or if you don't have tokens, you need to start working towards getting tokens. And how you receive tokens, all you have to do is just complete an escalation mission and you will be granted tokens. Now, again, I do not know how much it's going to cost for you to actually buy these caches and stuff like that, but you have to stay tuned. But it is going to make it a lot easier for you to stack up prototype cores when it comes to getting prototype gear and all that good stuff, because you can get the gear through the mission, and then once the mission is completed, based off of how many tokens you have, then you can then turn around and then go purchase caches to then break down more prototype gear to get more prototype cores. Now, currently on the screen, I have shifted to PvP gameplay. Now, normally I do not play Conflict. I was bored. There was the I believe it was 3 times XP for conflict. So I just hopped in there. I played 2 matches, and just to see how it would play out in a normalized situation. And most fights that I ended up in, I ended up fighting more than one person, because essentially they were all trying to kill me and they're all trying to focus me. My teammates helped out, so that helped. But again, when people say that they don't see the damage value, I understand. Some people, again, earlier, like I said, some people want to be able to shoot their gun, and as soon as you see that you're doing damage, it's like they go from full armor to half armor in like a blink of an eye. I understand that people want to be able to do that amount of damage, but at the same time, again, not all situations are going to play out like that, as to where you're going to run up to somebody, shoot them, melt them in half a clip, and on to the next person. So again, I am playing more to my playing style. If hybrids aren't your playing style, I understand. I'm not trying to force anybody to get into a play style that they're not comfortable with. But again, people see the results of running a hybrid build, and then they want to try it, and then when it's not the same result, then they want to say that the build is trash. You got to, it's trial and error. You're going to try something, it's not going to work, but you have to figure out how it does. So I feel like most people kind of just throw in the towel too quick without really giving it a fair chance and really trying to learn and actually learn the mechanics and stuff like that. And again, excuse me, a lot of people are shifting towards core strength hybrid builds. Core strength is a good set, don't get me wrong, but do I feel like it is absolutely stronger than the hybrid builds that I've already created and stuff like that? When you really weigh them out, core strength kind of falls short in that sense, because again, yes, you can have all that free armor and stuff like that, but you're losing out on a lot of stats and attributes. If you're running that 3-piece, those 3 pieces, you're missing out on a second attribute on 3 pieces, so your stats are going to fall short. So keep that in mind. But outside of that, again, I will be updating my hybrid builds more and more and more, so make sure you guys stay in tune for that. I feel like pretty soon I will have my streaming schedule smoothing out. I've been trying to fix my sleeping schedule so I can be able to be up at the proper time, so I can stream when more people are up to watch the stream, you know what I'm saying? But with that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys take care. Peace.